Thank you so much, Reedsy Learning, for sponsoring today's video.
Oh, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Claire, and in case you're new and don't know, or you're not new and have forgotten, I have spent years working on a fantasy manuscript that I try to seek traditional publishing for. If you're into creative writing, especially writing fiction or poetry, editing, and re-editing and entirely deconstructing and reconstructing said project multiple times is pure perspiration. Finishing a book, actually completing a book and then trying to complete it well is one of the most taxing things I've ever done in my life. I've never worked on a project creatively for this long that has demanded so much of me mentally, spiritually, and frankly, kind of physically. I thought it might be useful to go over some daily habits and things that you can implement in your routine to make you a better writer, a better creative, a better artist. And please do not think I'm speaking from a place of complete authority, because this is so much a reminder to myself as it is me like giving you advice. These are things that I know I should do. I should either implement more of, be more steady with. I am well aware of that. So this is to you, this is to me. So I really hope you enjoy this kind of video. And if you do, let me know down in the comments below, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I love talking about my process and my journey as a professional creative, but I also want to help make you a stronger creative, a better creative, a more productive creative. If you're into that, then, you know, subscribe, but let's get into the video. All right, guys, I'm so excited to talk about today's sponsor, the channel's first sponsor, Reedsy Learning, specifically their How to Write a Novel course with instructor Tom Bromley. Tom is a published author and best-selling ghostwriter, and frankly, a fantastic instructor. So let me talk about the course. The way Reedsy is set up is that it sends you daily lessons. So 5 days a week, usually an overarching topic for that week. So this week's topic is description, but today's first video is about the senses. You get a video from Tom, usually 12 to 16 minutes long, and then there's a ton of supplemental reading materials about the topic, goes over a ton of examples, which is one of my absolute favorite parts. Goes into a ton of books by authors I've never heard of, and genres and just things I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards, but are really good. So I keep reading samples of like the beginnings of these books, and I'm like, man, there's so much stuff I want to read now because they're all so good. If you've been with me for a while, you might be like, but Claire, you're already working on a novel. This is how to write a novel, and you're already written a novel, and in fact, you've been in this sphere for a while. How is this any help to you? Thank you so much for asking. I was a little nervous that I might be too basic for me. I am blown away by the topics that this class is getting into and how in-depth the information is. And we're only on like week 5 or week 6. This is a 3-month course, by the way. If you are starting from scratch and you're writing 1,000 words per day, in theory, you will hit about 70,000 words, average length of most novels by the end of this course. Once a week, there are lives that you can be a part of. And once a week, and this is probably my other favorite part, you can exchange your work with another student, give critiques and feedback on their work as they give critiques and feedback on yours. So you get like built-in critique partners. That can be a really hard part if you're just getting into the writing world, or honestly, even if you're already in it, is finding people who are willing to critique new unpublished work. And so the fact that you already have this group built in that will do just that. And then by giving you an opportunity for you to look at people's work, you have to put into words why something about the passage that they sent you does or doesn't work, and it just makes you go deeper into the craft. It's such an awesome social part of the class, as well as the writing sprints. So you can get on and be like, hey, I want to write for 15 minutes today, and other students will pop on too, and then it's a way to like keep each other accountable. It's not just one of those classes where it's purely just a video presentation. There's very much a live community, an in-the-moment community that you are a part of. So let me get back to the lessons. One of the things that I really like is that Tom
has had a few lessons where I have either had an intuitive sense about, but I've never put words to, or frankly, things I have never considered. One of those lessons recently was about color. The way he broke that down and the examples he used were actually really eye-opening and interesting. And another one earlier in the course was when he was talking about writers leaving enough space for readers to interact with the work and the reader filling in the blanks that the writer is purposefully leaving for them. That has legitimately changed the way that I've approached my writing. So if you're interested in the course, the next round is in September. I do have an affiliate link down below, and I would appreciate if you are interested in signing up using that link, because it helps me, it helps my channel. But I would genuinely recommend it. I've been talking about it to my friends in real life basically nonstop since I started, and you'll definitely hear me talk about them more over the next few months. Don't forget to use the affiliate link down below if you want to check it out or are interested in it. Anyway, back to the video. So first and foremost, sleep is so important to the creative brain, to creative and productive output. But over the years, I have learned that being consistent with your sleep is more important than necessarily trying to get the most sleep possible every day. This is something I recently kind of had reiterated to me via Andrew Huberman, that it is more important and better for your brain and general productivity to wake up at the same time every day than it is to try to get the most amount of sleep, especially if your sleep cycle is going to be kind of erratic. Mine can be, as a professional creative who doesn't have like a normal 9 to 5. And even if you do have a normal 9 to 5, there's always that weekend trap where you sleep in super late on weekends, then you have to get back up at 5 or 6 a.m. And that just happens. It's also summer. I don't know about you, but I'm going to bed later because there's more to do. It's really hard to go to bed before 9 p.m. when the sun doesn't even set until 9:30. That being said, of course, try to establish a nighttime routine in which you can go to the bed at relatively the same time every day. I aim for between 10 and 11, and I try not to beat up myself too much if I go past that, but more importantly, try to wake up at the same time every day or nearly every day. Right now for me, it's 7 a.m., but I'm gunning to make that a little bit earlier. In fact, that is going to be video coming up where I'm gonna try to get up earlier and establish an earlier morning writing routine. So if you wanna try to be a morning person, a creative morning person with me, then definitely stick around for those videos coming out. Now, because I'm talking about us creative people, I know some of y'all are night owls and get a lot of your creative work done in the evening. And of course, I'm not telling you to give that up or to like try to change your own nature. I would suggest trying to limit blue light, either through glasses or changing your screens to have that like orangey hue in the evening so you don't, mess up your circadian rhythm any more than you might already be doing. Even if you are a night owl, try to keep your mornings consistent. So even if you're consistently running on 6 to 7 hours of sleep, is better than having erratic sleep cycles where you're getting 9 to 10 hours one night, 5 to 6 hours another night, and never having that consistency. I don't know about you, but that is one of my biggest hindrances as a creative that has to self-motivate myself to create things, is just being exhausted. Another thing, so not talking about nighttime sleep, but naps. I don't know about you guys. I like a good nap, but I have recently really gotten into yoga nidra. Has this been popping up on your feeds too, or in your algorithm? Because I feel like it's exploded for me lately. And again, this is another Andrew Huberman thing where he talks about yoga nidra a lot, but I have basically almost entirely replaced my desire to nap with yoga nidra. And what that is, it kind of looks like you're taking a nap because you just lay on your back and close your eyes, but you're listening to somebody talk through paying attention to different parts of the body. If you happen to fall asleep, that's not a big deal, but it's weirdly extremely restful to try to get out of your brain and out of your thoughts and try to really force yourself to get into your body and move your attention down into that field. For some reason, will make you feel so good and so much more awake. And I wouldn't believe that if I didn't experience it myself. 20-minute yoga nidra session does so much more to recharge me in that afternoon slump than a 2-hour nap ever has. At the end of the day too, time is our one non-renewable resource. I always feel a little guilty napping, especially if I don't actually feel recharged to work on stuff afterwards. So yoga nidra is a lifesaver. I would highly recommend it to any creatives out there. And speaking of yoga, we all know physical activity is important. Going on walks, working out, doing yoga, stretching. I'm gonna put an emphasis on yoga and stretching, especially for back posture, because as creatives, if we're really into writing or drawing, I see you, I feel you, I understand where your shoulders just went around and pull in from drawing so much or from working on a laptop so much. So doing some sort of upper back strength training, yoga, stretching, we do not need to be ruining our postures and, more importantly, giving ourselves extreme discomfort and pain just because we're trying to get work done on a computer. Something that can help with that, of course, is a standing desk. I love my standing desk, but I do have like a pretty stiff back comfy chair that I'll sit into. I'm not like I have to stand or nothing. I will switch back and forth between them because at the end of the day, from what I understand, like trying to force yourself to have perfect posture all the time does not necessarily equate to avoiding back issues. I write and stand until it starts to feel uncomfortable, and then I'll sit and work until it starts to feel uncomfortable, and then I'll stand and work. So I think having a way to flow between standing and sitting, so you're just not in one uncomfortable posture for long stretches of time, is gonna do wonders for you, as well as having walk breaks. Luckily, I have Yukon, and the only thing he loves to do on earth is go on walks, so that is never something that I need reminding of. That guilt and peer pressure to go outside and walk is in my head 24/7. But, as I was saying with the importance of working out, with the importance of walking, I don't know about you, but when I do these activities, I tend to have headphones in. I'm listening to House of the Dragon podcast, talking to someone on the phone. I'm listening to an audiobook. These are all great things, but I think at some point in the day, whether it be when you're showering or on one of your walks, or my gym has a sauna, so when I'm in the sauna, try to have 15 to 20 minutes where you don't have something in your ear, and especially not people talking at you, because you need time to actually ruminate. And they say best ideas come in the shower, and it's obviously having this time to rest where your brain will just start doing its magic. So we want to give ourselves those opportunity for magic. Now I'll put an asterisk by music. I don't know about you, but sometimes, especially when I'm on a long drive and I'm listening to music, even lyrical music, I can have some of my best thoughts about my book come to me that way. But sometimes it turns into daydreams that have absolutely nothing to do with my book. I just kind of be honest with yourself about whether this time that you're trying to give to think about your project, listening to music is helping or hindering that. And if it's hindering, maybe just try switching to non-lyrical music, so like lo-fi or classical, so you're still getting that stimulation and kind of getting some emotion, but it's not being directed, because sometimes lyrics just direct my thoughts into a certain emotion. Sometimes it's amazing because that emotion has to do with my book, but sometimes, like I said, it doesn't. So you gotta kind of use your discretion for that. One day, I will make a video about all my weird health and food things. I'm a big believer in eating fat and protein and eating that stuff earlier in the day so that you're fueled and you don't crash later on. I'm not always good about doing it. I drink bulletproof coffee every single day and have for the last 6 years. I do a healthy serving of salted butter melted in my coffee with a healthy dose of cream in there too. So I do get fat and calories with my coffee every day, but sometimes that makes me not hungry, and then I go until like noon or 1 p.m. until I feel like eating. Something that I know I need to work on, trying to get more protein earlier in the day. So by the time 2 p.m. comes around, I don't crash because I haven't eaten. I would relay that to you as well. Food is important. Food is fuel. Calories from protein and fat are especially important, especially when you're a creative. Your mind burns a lot of calories. It's important to eat. I'm saying this to me. It's important to eat. Eat in the morning. Gosh darn it. Now this next habit is something that I'm going to talk about more in these future videos that I kind of teased earlier in this video, but is not taking breaks between writing if you can. I don't know about you guys. I experience this as an artist. I draw caricatures professionally. Drawing caricatures is now second nature to me. The hardest part about it is if I take a long break and that first day, that first drawing back is so painful. It feels like I've never drawn before a day in my life, and writing feels exactly the same way to me, where if I take several days, a week, God forbid 2 weeks off, that first hour back in the chair, that's what will procrastinate me a lot too, is because I know how painful that first hour, that first writing session will be. I'm working to not take breaks in between writing anything, and I'm trying to get more into, if I'm not going to work on my book, then maybe write some poetry, work on my Reedsy writing class, and work on the exercises that are provided to me every day. And this might be something I break down further in another separate video, but this involves discipline, this involves habit building. So these next few tips kind of go together. It might be a little unusual, but I'm a big believer when it comes to fiction writing, that if you want strong characters, you want strong voice, then you gotta be a lover of people and going to places where there's a lot of people and you have the opportunity to people watch and eavesdrop. Observe, why does this person who seems very quiet still come off as very confident? Why is this person who's very loud come off as insecure? We want quirks, we want cues, we want interesting descriptions for our characters that come across as specific but natural. And some of the best ways to get those is from seeing people in real life. I really want to put an emphasis on in real life too. You can obviously gain a lot by reading or even watching things in movies or TV, but there's always going to be that level of separation. They're still curated by a specific person or by a team of people. That is different than seeing people in real life. One of my best flexes that I have from beta readers and critique partners when it comes to my work is that my dialogue and general character interactions, especially with other characters, is distinct. You can recognize who's talking even without being told explicitly who it is, and that the dialogue and dialogue exchange is very natural. And I attribute this to really training your brain to listen to how people talk. That's something you want to catch. Because even if the subject matter doesn't interest you, it's the way people come across and the way they talk. It just allows you to build up the bank of really interesting just quirks and understanding of human nature. And kind of working off of that, you can observe people at coffee shops. You can observe people at the dog park, especially if they're already built into your routine. But I think it also really helps to go to unusual places, quirky events. I recently, back-to-back, went to an Edgar Allan Poe theater event and a Midsummer's Night Dream theater event. Not only was I exposed to people performing some of the best literature that has ever been created, good for, the writing craft brain in and of itself, but these events tend to draw very interesting people. I also had the pleasure and the privilege of working at a Hobbits and Elves festival that was in my area. So once again, you're coming across extremely quirky people doing unusual things and maybe in unusual conversations that you're not gonna come across at a coffee shop or a dog shop. dog park. It can just bring out some characters. Things can be a little bit more dramatic, even amongst the crowd or amongst the people if they're in those sorts of environments. I'm sure a lot of you are kind of feeling the same way, where in the summer in your city, there's just so much more to do, so much more like weird, interesting events. Those are things to go to, if only to people watch and observe for your own creative endeavors. Anyway, I gotta get going. Oh, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee page in which I'm uploading some fun things that Edgar Allan Poe and Shakespeare event that I'm talking about. I got some footage from and I'm putting into it's not a very good vlog, but it just kind of gives you a look into what these events were like and what I went to. So if you're interested in that, I'm gonna have a post about that go up soon. I just thank you guys so much for watching. I like making videos and content that I think will help you guys in your own creative endeavors. I love talking to you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.